Good afternoon, everyone. We're very happy to be here for our September 24th regular School Board of Education meeting. At this time, we're going to stand and have our invocation and pledge of allegiance by Ms. Gracie Lewis, a Forest Lake Elementary student. And while we're standing, we ask that you remember one of our former teachers, Mr. Ernie Compton, a longtime teacher who taught at the TLC program at Dent, who passed away, and also continue to remember the young lady, Miss Gabby Swainson from Ridgeview High School, young lady who is still missing. Thank you very much.
Let us pray. Lord, thank you for the women and men who dedicate their lives to educating children. Bless them with strength, joy, and a strong sense of purpose. Use these teachers to make a difference in the lives of their students. Lord, also watch over all students. Give us courage, peace, and joy. Let us make friends easily and connect well with our teachers. Please sharpen our minds and help us learn. Guide us to be people of character and do our best every day. Amen.
Amen.
Salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here tonight at Forest Lake Elementary School. It's an opportunity for us as a board to meet, and also thank you for being here. We honor all of the awardees that will be presented tonight, as well as the principal of this fine school, Dr. Kathy Steck. At this time, we will approve, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the current agenda and minutes from our previous meeting.
So moved. Second.
Been moved by Mr. Manning, second by Ms. Anderson. Any discussion? Hearing none, we're ready to vote.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr.
I believe we want to change one item. Let me make sure I have the right number here.
Yes, sir.
Agenda item 12.1, proposal for middle school STEMS program. That's an action item. I want to change that to a non-action item.
Been moved by Mr. Dr. Fleming to change the agenda item to a non-action item, and second by Mrs. Anderson. Any further discussion?
12.1.
12.1. Is there any further discussion regarding that amendment to the agenda? Hearing none, we're ready to vote.
It's fine.
In that case, we'll show hands by raising your right hand. All in favor? It's been unanimous. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is the student-focused presentation. Dr. Brochu.
Yes, first, Mr. Jackson, we have special recognitions, and I would like to call
Thank you very much.
I'd like to call on Ken Blackstone, our Executive Director for Communications and Strategic Partnerships, to present these.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, Madam Vice Chair, and members of the board, Dr. Brochu and staff, we have one group recognition this evening, and then we have our annual recognition of our Teachers of the Year. First to be recognized is the 2011-12 School Improvement Council at Richland Northeast High School. And if our group could make its way to the front, if you're here, I believe we have 3 honorees. In July, it was the School Improvement Council for Richland Northeast High School was named the 2012 School Improvement Council of the Year by the South Carolina State Board of Education. The volunteer award was given based on the work the group had done to establish the standards for the school's core values. And here on behalf of the SIC are their officers Michelle Peterson, the co-chair, Butch Owens, co-chair, and I don't know if Suzanne Odell is here or not, but Sabrina Suber, the principal, is here. So congratulations to you all. Thank you very much. And next up is our 2012-13 Teachers of the Year. And I would ask if you all could start taking your place, and I will ask you all to come forward as your names are called alphabetically by school, with the elementary schools first, and then middle school and high school. And we'll take a moment for our school board members to come up to the front. And so are we going to assemble here behind me? Is that how we're going to do it here? Now, let me say that the honor of being named Teacher of the Year is voted on by the teachers' peers. The 4 honor roll teachers and the district teacher of the year are chosen by a selection committee, which is comprised of community members and students. So now, without further ado, allow me to introduce our 2012-13 Teachers of the Year. And I believe we have a PowerPoint that has each of their names and pictures on it. So let me start with Sharon Corley from Bethel Hanbury Elementary School. Rena Nord from Bookman Road Elementary School, Chris Steamer represents Catawba Trail Elementary School. Linda Steffi is from Condor Elementary School. Tammy Lundy from right here at Forest Lake Elementary. She has the home court advantage here. And from Keels Elementary School, Jennifer Tefel. From Killian Elementary School, Jelania Knotts Holiday. Doretha Garland from Langford Elementary School. Whitney Jones is representing Nelson Elementary School. Pamela Powell is from North Springs Elementary. Marie Sims from Polo Road Elementary School. Joan Morgan from Pontiac Elementary School. From Rice Creek Elementary is Sharon Anderson. Caroline Clarkson represents Sandlapper Elementary School. Yadira Trapp from Blythewood Middle School. Not with us tonight is Ken Creech from Dent Middle School. Catherine Patterson is from Kelly Mill Middle. Shanae Buford is from Longleaf Middle School. And Michelle Small, Muller Road Middle School. Angela Davis from Summit Parkway Middle School. And Courtney Walker from Wright Middle School. We have it listed as Wright, not E.L. Wright, so probably threw a lot of us off there. From the high school level, did I get everybody at the middle school? The high school level, Allison Bird from Blythewood High. Chris Nostrand from Ridgeview High School. Link Graham from Spring Valley High School. And our four honor roll teachers of the year are Susan Comiskey from Lake Carolina Elementary School first. Nicole Timmerman from Round Top Elementary School. Jennifer Boone from Windsor Elementary School. Ginger Belka from Richland Northeast High School. And now for the 2012-13 District Teacher of the Year, let us have a standing ovation for Ms. Terry Butts from Bridge Creek Elementary School. We have produced a video featuring all of the Teachers of the Year that will begin airing on R2 TV tomorrow and will also be posted to our YouTube site. And let me say congratulations to everybody once again, and I hope you all are having and will continue to have a wonderful school year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Blackstone, and certainly want to extend the board's congratulations again to all of the Teachers of the Year in our district who do such an outstanding job. Thank you very much. So that no one thinks that the board chair is dyslexic, the agenda item was student focus and then special recognitions, but we reversed that, so I think we're now back on track. With that, we'll have the student focus presentation. Dr. Brochu.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. At this time, I'd like to call on Sue Millette, our Chief Academic Officer, to introduce our Student Focus Report.
Thank you very much, Dr. Brochu. We're delighted to be here tonight at Forest Lake Elementary, and they're going to share their inspiring story from when they began with rural roots, and now they're moving forward into the 21st, or already in the 21st century. So we're in for a real treat. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Cappy Stick, who will introduce everyone else.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Brochu, cabinet members, and our very distinguished Teachers of the Year. We welcome you to Forest Lake this evening. Board members, you may want to turn so that you can see some of the pictures behind you. My goodness. The Dent family originally owned the land which Forest Lake stands on. During World War II, it was leased to the government and was known as North Camp. Troops who lived in tents marched in rank where students now play. In front of our school, there was a prisoner stockade. The prisoners were allowed to work for local farmers or in a local paint shop. The only remaining building from that era is a small white cinder block house on Brookfield Road, which was used as a supply room. Richland School District 2 was formed in 1952 by consolidating the Dentsville and Blythewood school districts. There were 3 schools for grades 1 through 12 and 1 school for grades 1 through 6. Forest Lake was built 5 years later in 1957. At the time, we only had 16 classrooms. Additional classrooms were built in 1959. A new wing was added in 1989 that included rooms like special education, a new library, and 1 kindergarten classroom. Additional wings for kindergarten and 5th grade were added in 1996, along with the renovation of this cafeteria. Last year, our media center was renovated as flexible space to complement our 21st century teaching and learning. A variety of teaching styles and techniques have been used throughout the years to meet the individual needs of our students. The Forest Lake staff is appreciative to our supportive community. Through many cooperative efforts, it is possible to provide a quality education for all of our students. Our first principal was Elizabeth Kay, who was followed by Dr. Sarah Strachan, and then Ms. Bev Foster. At this time, we would like to make a very special recognition to our fourth principal at Forest Lake, Dr. Cheryl Washington. Dr. Washington served as our principal here at Forest Lake from 1992 until 1994, and we continue to benefit from her vision and her hard work. At this time, we invite you to now enjoy some highlights of the Forest Lake story, presented by Angela Powers, the direction of Angela Powers, and some of our student volunteers.
Go for the gold, begin.
Let's give our Forest Lake students another round of applause. Thank you very much. And as the Teachers of the Year and others who are leaving, we certainly thank you for being here and being present tonight. And congratulations again to each and every one of you for your tremendous contribution to our district. At this time, we will have our public participation. We have one individual who signed up. And as you are aware, anyone can address the board, and you will be limited to 3 minutes in your comments. At this time, I think if I'm reading it correctly, Mr. James Brown, is it? If he's present, if he'll come forward to the mic. If you would state your name again and your address for the record, I'd appreciate that.
James Brown, 1013 North King Street, apartment 202A, Columbia, South Carolina.
Sir.
Madam Chairman and the rest of the board members, I'm here on behalf of my son. He is allergic to very numerous of things, which is peanut butter is one of the main things. He do not have to consume it, eat it. If he smells it, his head swells up. And I'm afraid that he's going to die in the school system if they don't get peanut butter out of school. On January 9th, last school term, it happened at one school. Mm-hmm. On this year, a week ago, I was in bed at home, ready for work or whatever, and the phone rang because of the same thing again. I can't continue to go through with this. It hurts me, my family, and him most of all. And I just believe that something has to be done with peanut butter in the school system. That's all I have to. Like I said, I'm just here on behalf of my little boy.
Yes, absolutely.
Like I said, it doesn't affect anyone else in here but me and my family. Because I'm supposed to actually be at work, but I'm here trying to plead a case for my little boy.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms.
I know we don't respond, but I think it's very appropriate for me to ask one particular question because Mr. Brown stated that peanut butter needs to be removed from school. How do you suggest we'll go about telling other parents they can't send a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to school to their child? How have you dealt with this throughout his life, or did he just become allergic to this?
We found out when he was probably a year and a half. He's 5 years old now. The daycare that he went to did not have any kind of peanuts or sandwiches or anything at all. And like I said, he don't have to eat it or touch it. If he's exposed to it, if he smells it, it swells his head up and begin to close his airway up.
So that's a very difficult situation, and we have both two nurses here and a doctor. I would like to speak with you further on more suggestions, because what you're actually asking is almost impossible for us as a board and a district to prevent, because we can't guard parents as to what their children bring. If a child has peanuts in his backpack and we're unaware of it, we can't control that.
Ms. Anderson.
So if you would I'd like to.
Yes.
For him
Ms.
to make it a meeting.
If you would certainly, if you're able to stay, Mr. Brown, Ms. Anderson would be happy to talk with you afterwards. During public participation, unfortunately, we don't respond during that time. Does not mean we're not interested and very concerned about your concern. And I think what Ms. Anderson is suggesting is that she would take an opportunity to have a conversation with you afterwards. And if not, we'll make sure she gets your name and phone number and have that conversation. She's one of those two nurses, medical professionals who's on the board. That's why she's speaking in that context. So because we're not responding does not mean that we're not interested in listening very carefully to what you said. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Anderson.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. We did not have anyone else to sign up for public participation. However, if anyone else would like to speak at this time, I'd like you to feel free to come to the mic. Seeing none, thank you very much. Next on our agenda is our facilities report. Dr. Brochu.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. At this time, we'll call on Mr. Jack Carter, our Executive Director of Operations, to bring us a report.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have this week's report. I'll be glad to answer any questions. I am going to talk about the Northeast upgrades in a later session, so I'll save those for that time.
Questions or comments for Mr. Carter on the board? Hearing none, thank you very much, Ms. Carter. Next on our agenda is the technology report. Dr. Brochu?
Yes, at this time, I'll call on Dr. Debbie Ham, our Chief Information Officer.
Yes, Mr. Kramer will be making that report. If you have any questions, I'm sure he'll be happy to answer them.
Happy to answer any questions you might have this evening.
Questions or comments from the board on the technology report?
No, Mr. Kramer.
Mr. Manning.
I do want to say the new website has rolled out for the district officially, and want to thank everybody who put in all the hard work and time that it takes to do that, and excited to see that finally out there to the public. So thank you for everybody that's worked on that effort.
We do appreciate that, and there's a lot of hard work on the Department of Communications and Strategic Partnerships as well as IT that's worked on that, and we hope to have responded to a lot of the requests for changes there, and certainly we expect it to be a work in progress that we will continue to improve over time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions from the board? No, thank you very much, Mr. Kramer. Next is our budget report.
Yes, Mr. Jackson, at this time, I'd like to call on our Chief Financial Officer, Bob Davis.
Thank you, Dr. Brochu. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, as you'll recall, next Tuesday, a week from tonight, the Richland County Council will convene, and at that meeting, they will set our millage. That's the next step in our budget cycle. Be happy to answer any questions, sir.
Questions or comments from the board? Ms. Brill?
October 2nd at 6 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
Other questions or comments from the board? Thank you very much, Mr. Davis.
Thank you, sir.
Next, Chair will entertain a motion on the executive session items listed. Student appeals. Ms. Anderson.
Student appeals. On the first student appeal, I move that we allow that student to return to school on strict probation.
Been moved by Ms. Anderson.
I second it.
It's been seconded by Ms. Brill. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we're ready to vote.
Mine didn't come up either.
Motion passes 6-1. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda, next appeal.
Number 2 on the addendum, I make a motion that we deny the appeal.
Been moved by Ms. Brill that we deny number 2. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Burgess. Any further discussion?
Is that for the addendum?
Yes, for the addendum. Yes, Dr. Ms. Spector. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we're ready to vote. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much. Next, student appeals, a PE waiver.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we uphold the appeal for the P waiver.
Second that.
It's been moved by Mr. Manning and second by Dr. Burgess. Any further discussion?
Should we uphold or approve?
Approved.
I think we need to approve, not
Approve.
uphold.
All right,
Thank you, Ms.
take that
Anderson.
friendly amendment.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we're ready to vote. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much. Next, student readmissions request. Chair will entertain a motion.
Move approval, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Brill, second by Ms. Anderson. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, we're ready to vote.
Mine went back to,
Anybody's up?
nope.
Mr. Brown?
Nobody's is up.
That we approve the student readmission requests.
Mine says service unavailable.
Well, while Jill is trying to correct that, we will vote by show of hands. All those in favor of the motion, raise your right hand.
There it is. Mine just showed up.
9 showed up. You can vote electronically.
Well, it's still not working right.
Motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much. Next is student admissions request into the district's adult education program. Chair will entertain a motion.
So move.
Moved by Ms. Anderson, second by Ms. Spector. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we're ready to vote.
It showed up.
Motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much. Next is a request for at-home instruction, annual request. Chair will entertain a motion.
So move.
Second it.
Moved by Ms. Anderson, second by Ms. Brill. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we're ready to vote.
I vote yes.
Yours come up, Ms. Anderson? Did yours come up?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much. Next, ratification of personnel. Dr. Brochu?
Yes, I will call on our Chief Human Resource Officer, Roosevelt Garrick, to share our recommendation to the board.
We have for your consideration 1 page of professional recommendations and 1 page of classified recommendations.
You've heard the information. The chair will entertain a motion.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Anderson. We approve the ratification of personnel. It's been seconded by Mr. Manning. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we're ready to vote. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much. On the personnel matter regarding the reconsideration, the chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept
or that we agree to hear the hearing as requested by the individual.
Second it.
Moved by Dr. Burgess, second by Ms. Brill. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we're ready to vote.
Yeah, I voted and mine just disappeared. It didn't show whether I voted.
We have all those in favor of the motion, raise your right hand.
We keep getting an error too, Jill.
It's, the motion passes 7-0. Next on the agenda is contractual matters.
Mr. Chairman, I move that this board authorize the administration to purchase .75 acres of property being shown as Richland County TMS number R 20600-02-05 and TMS number R 20600-02-29 according to the terms of the option agreements with the seller. This property is being purchased to improve the intersection of Grover Wilson and Langford Roads for the future high school number 6 site. The total consideration is $17,525.
Been moved by Mr. Manning. Is there a second?
I second it.
Second by Ms. Brill. Any further discussion? Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we're ready to vote. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much. The only item remaining under the new business action requested is the board and superintendent goals. These are the goals for the board and superintendent that were adopted, rather were developed, but were not adopted officially. However, they've been operational. They were posted for the last several weeks on the district website and made available. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion.
Chairman, I move that we accept the board and superintendent goals.
Moved by Dr. Burgess.
Second.
Second by Ms. Anderson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we're ready to vote. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much. Under new business, no action requested. Proposal for middle school STEMS program. Dr. Brochu.
Mr. Chairman, can I interrupt for a minute?
Yes, Dr. Burgess.
May I be excused to go speak to Mr. Brown so he can go to work? He's the fellow that came and talked to us about his son.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Burgess, you may be. And Ms. Anderson, if you'd like to join her, feel free to do so as well.
I think she can handle it.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Burgess, very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Brochu.
Thank you, sir. At this time, I'd like to call on Chief Academic Officer Sue Millette to share information with others regarding a middle school STEMS program. We talked a little bit about changing and moving forward with a number of opportunities for all of our students in the entire district, and I think that they have some information they'd like to share at this time.
Okay, thank you. As many of you know, we do have a very successful STEMS program at North Springs, and as we've stated before, they've had a high number of students who are interested in participating at that particular program. We now have parents and students who are in their 5th grade, and they're ready to go to middle school. And as of now, we do not have a STEMS program at the middle school level. This would feed nicely into both the program at Spring Valley as well as Ridgeview, and we feel like this would be a great segue into and helping our students participate. In your board information, you do have some information specifically about the cost and the phase-in that we would propose to do. We would open it at the 6th grade the first year and then successfully after that up through the 8th grade. So I'll be happy to answer any questions. And Don McLeod, who is in charge of our academic initiatives, I'll say it straight in a minute, we'll be happy to answer any other questions that you may have.
Questions, comments from the board?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Manning?
I have a comment. I think I mentioned that quite a few meetings ago when we first got information on the magnets. I felt like STEMS was a critical area for us, and certainly want to thank Forest Lake for being kind of the precursor to the whole STEMS thing with the NASA piece and integration of technology and science into this school. And I just think it's a critical step for us as a district to continue this and maybe even look at it beyond the magnet piece and more integration throughout all of our schools. I just think that these areas are critical to the future of not only Richland County and Columbia, but beyond across the state. So certainly supportive of this effort.
Thank you, Ms. Manning. Ms. Brill.
Have you designated which middle schools yet, or is that still in the planning stages?
We're proposing Summit Parkway Middle School.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson.
My concern is every child that will go to Summit Parkway will not be coming from North Springs. Therefore, if you get a student that has not attended the current STEMS program at North Springs, however, would like to be a part of the STEMS program at Summit Parkway, how are we going to deal with that?
I'm going to turn it over to Don McLeod, who probably can answer that better than I can.
Look at the proposal. What we were looking at were 40 students coming from North Springs that could potentially, if they choose to, feed into the middle school program. But the middle school program itself, we were proposing 80 students there, realizing they will have different backgrounds, but we have students that start middle school magnets that have never attended elementary school magnets across the district. So I feel like we do a good job of making accommodations and differentiating instruction so that they should have a seamless transition into the program.
So what I hear you saying is those students, a rising 6th grader from another elementary school, will have an opportunity to get into the program at Summit Parkway.
That's correct.
But we're not just going to take all of the, kind of explain to me, you have 40 in the program currently. So those 40, if they wish to continue in the program, will they automatically move into the middle school STEMS program, or will they have to apply like everyone else?
We haven't worked through all the details at this point, but the way that we're looking at it right now, they would apply. And if we use the CFK to Law program as a feeder model, generally about half the students choose to go on with the law, and others just disperse across the district.
How long do you guys think it will take you to work out the details?
We can get them to you as soon as we need to.
Well, I don't want to vote on it until I get the details worked out. Pardon me? I know it's no vote tonight, but I'm just saying, when it comes for the vote, I would like to have the details worked out so that I would know exactly on what I'm voting for.
I think we can have those ready for our next board meeting, Ms. Anderson.
Great. Thank you.
If you would remain, Ms. McLeod, in case there are other questions that you need to answer. Comments or questions from the board?
Mr. Chair.
Dr. Fleming.
I just have one. We have, like you said, you mentioned the law program, and we have the children from Center for Knowledge that have gone into that. But the curriculum is supposed to be pretty much in line with what they had been doing at the Center for Knowledge. Is that correct?
Both core knowledge programs.
Okay, now, core knowledge programs for middle school. Okay, so again, the scientific, the STEMS program, is there such a program aligned with that for middle school?
a curriculum at
A
the middle
curriculum.
school level.
I mean, you know, you
There
said
is
we.
a national curriculum.
Yes.
If you pull, but it's very broad, and you pick up pieces of it. It's very comprehensive.
Okay. And I guess just a follow-up is that you will probably end up having a good many new students into a magnet program, basically, will be a lottery-type program. Is that correct, or is that not correct?
Well, we're still, again, working through details. We were looking at being the selected criteria, but being very broad in selection.
Okay. But again, I'd like to know exactly how you do that. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fleming. Other questions or comments from the board?
I'm very pleased that you all are doing this. As we can add magnets and keep children, interested and engaged, we're doing what we need to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Brill. Other questions?
One more thing, Mr.
Anderson.
Chairman. I'd just like to point out for the record that this was not put on the agenda because of the parents speaking of it at the last board meeting.
Correct.
This had been worked on
That's correct.
some times ago by you guys' department. So I just want, for the record,
Sure.
this did not show up tonight because of the two parents who spoke on this at the last board meeting. This has been an ongoing working process.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions or comments from the board?
Mr. Chair, just one
Mr.
additional
Manning.
comment. I just want to say, I've heard a lot of comments about whether this district in the direction of magnets and whether they're supported or not. And I think clearly when you look at the direction that we're moving as a board, that we do support the magnet programs within Richland too and understand the value. Certainly appreciate, Ms. McLeod, you have quite a job keeping up with all the intricacies involved with each one of these magnet programs. And the difficulties that come out of that. So I think we're sending a clear message with the things that we're talking about and the focus that we're putting on this, and hope that the public who questions this district's support for magnets will see that and realize that it's there.
Thank you, Mr. Manning. Other questions, comments from the board? Dr. Burgess.
Just that wanted to reiterate what my fellow board members said. I think it's a good idea. We've had requests from people for a long time, over a year, and I know that we've been working on that. Reiterate to me again what the equipment is. It covers the computers or robotics. Okay, thank you. Be kind of cool.
Other questions or comments from the board?
Mr. Chair, I have.
Yes, Ms. Spector.
I just would like to, I guess I'll relate this to Bob since you don't have to do money. But can you tell us where it's going to come out of the budget?
Not precisely. It'd probably be a general fund item, though. The equipment could be a capital item, though, and we certainly could look at 8% funding.
Thank you, Ms. Spector. Other questions or comments from the board? Thank you very much, Mr. Cloud. Next on the agenda, under new business, no action requested, an update on the Richland Northeast High School project. Dr. Brochu.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. This evening, we will share a comprehensive report regarding branding initiative, a new master plan for facilities at Richland Northeast, and kind of to begin that process, we'll ask Ken Blackstone to join us, as well as Sabrina Suber, a number of her staff members and parents, as well as Jack Carter, our Executive Director for Operations, and they're going to kind of give you the look at the new Richland Northeast High School.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Ms. Anderson.
Question for Dr. Brochu.
Yes, ma'am.
They're not going to go over everything we received in our board brief, are they?
No, ma'am. I think that they're going to give you a very brief overview, and we will open it up for questions that you might have. So that way we can customize the information that you are seeking this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Blackstone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Dr. Brochu and staff. I remember one of the first things that was mentioned to me when I first got here was the idea of a comprehensive branding marketing program for Richland Northeast High School. Later got a call from Sabrina Suber, who mentioned that their school improvement council had started a similar effort. I met with them, we combined our efforts, and then of course there was the third element of the master plan of facility improvements that was ongoing. So tonight we're pleased to make this presentation as several members of one team representing all the different elements to tell you about these efforts that have been underway for several months. So I'm going to start off by introducing Assistant Principal Margaret Schiller.
One of my favorite quotes is the one by Margaret Mead that says, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." And I really feel like that represents our SIC and what they've done so far with the branding. The rezoning process last year made Richland Northeast faculty, parents, students, and community aware that there were some in Richland District 2 who did not know about all the positive opportunities that our school offers, nor about all the wonderful students that walk our halls. How could everyone not know about our who? Our who, the students in our nationally recognized ROTC program, Horizon, iLink, PCA, Convergence Media, Magnets, our cosmetology program with 100% passage rate over the last 9 years, and who didn't see Legally Blonde, the dinner and a show sponsored by our foundation. And what about IB? The image that had been laid out before us was not who we were nor who we are. At the beginning of the 2011 and 12 school year, our SIC parents, Ms. Peterson, Susan Odell, Mr. and Mrs. Owens, Ms. Dorn, started the conversation of how do we change this negative reflection. Our principal, Ms. Suber, was ready for this task because she had her vision for the school as well. She knew she wanted a tagline for Richland Northeast. Through engaging conversations, the SIC felt that just creating a tagline was not enough, that we needed to take a look at our brand. I was tasked with chairing this committee. I got a great tip from Susan Adele that we had a member of our Cavalier family who just happened to be an expert on branding. You better believe I made a cold call to Miss Ginger Bates. I left a message introducing myself, that I needed help, and to please call me back. And believe it or not, she called me back. And that was the start in our branding journey over the last year. Many meetings were held over the last year. Ms. Bates has led us through the process of how to get input from our students, faculty, parents, and alumni. Richland District 2 Communication Department stepped in to offer their support, and it has been vital. I want to publicly thank our SIC members, Ms. Suber, Ms. Bates, Mr. Blackstone, Ms. Riley, Mr. Bruton, and Mr. Burke for all their time and effort. I want to thank Dr. Brochu and this board for your support and for believing in what Richland Northeast has to offer, and for most importantly, believing in our students. And now I'd like to introduce the lady who played a significant role in our branding efforts, Ms. Ginger Bates.
Thank you. Just as a background, I am a parent of 2 children in Richland 2. Doesn't want to stay up. I'm also the wife of a Richland 2 graduate from Richland Northeast. So I have a vested interest in all of this, and I appreciate you letting me be here. We, as Margaret stated so eloquently, needed to take control, assert and take control of our Richland Northeast image and brand and message as parents, as students of Richland Northeast, alumni, and our staff. And we need to do that in a comprehensive and measurable way. I have a background in market research. I have had my own company for many years, and so I lent that expertise, tried to give some suggestions on how to accomplish that. First suggestion included, if we can, my recommended methodologies were let's start with an online survey. Let's talk to current students, parents, alumni, and staff, and ask them, let's confirm what we think is true, which there's a gap between what we believe Richland Northeast to be and what we perceive the community as believing. And indeed, we had over 900 responses. It was a fabulous response that was done in April 2012, and from that, we used a lot of that information to help guide us in what we would talk about in focus groups with those target audiences. Those 4 discussions were done with each target group in April and May of 2012. Just wanted to briefly give you there's a lot of information that came out of the online survey, but just to give you a feel for this. Some of the questions. We asked folks, parents, students, alumni, faculty, and staff, do you feel safe at Richland Northeast? An average 92% said yes, absolutely. We asked them, does it feel friendly and open? An average of 88% said yes. We very strongly agree to that. And as all of you know, in branding, if someone's ever asked you for a recommendation, it's called the stick your neck out question, isn't it? Because they say, would you recommend this cookie? Or would you recommend this school? Whatever the product or service is, we want to know and feel confident that that product is good. So the recommend question is always the key question to ask. Would you recommend it? You may feel safe. You may feel it's open. You may feel it's fabulous. But would you recommend it to your friends, family, and community? And overwhelmingly, they said yes. Next, we ask, okay, well, what do you feel about Richland Northeast's reputation in the community? This is where the disconnect lies. Only 28% on average said that Richland Northeast had a positive or very positive impression in the community. Okay? So that helps us know we've got some communication issues, we've got some gaps. We knew that was the case, but wanted to confirm and benchmark it so that then we could measure back to that process and know what we've done. Okay? The second phase is to conduct the focus groups. I led each of those, as that's my particular specialty. We had a great time with the students, with the faculty, with the alumni and parents, and we talked a lot about who we want or understand Richland Northeast to be, how do we perceive others and their visions of Richland Northeast. We did evaluation of logo options, which Joe Burke had so graciously put together so well. We also went through a process of tagline ideation, and we came up with some great ideas. It was lots of fun. From that, the results from the research. We have ended up, as you see on all these slides, with an updated logo and a new tagline, the right direction. That logo reflects the original colors of Northeast, which were originally in place when the school started, which had migrated to navy. And we also have created a repository, an electronic repository, so that all internal customers as well as external vendors can easily access the correct colors, the correct logo, so that, as we all know, if you see if your favorite brand, you always recognize the Deer Park, because it always has the same exact color of blue, it always has the same exact color of green, and the same font, right? So we want that to happen with Northeast as well, that we always recognize wherever we are in the district or in the city that Northeast is the in and that cavalier, okay? So we also created the new tagline, the right direction, which we believed encompassed everything we wanted in terms of Northeast actually being a specific direction. We thought that was very clever. But also representation certainly of where we're going now and in the future. The final element to this process was the development of a comprehensive multi-year communication plan. And that was developed with the assistance of district staff, which was invaluable. And that will help support and shape our goals and objectives for branding and communication for Northeast over the next couple of years. It's not only important to have an image, but it's important to have a message that's worth hearing. And the district staff has helped us do that along with our groups of parents, students, alumni, and staff. And I'll let Sabrina Suber lift up some of those things from our communication plan for you.
Let me begin by saying we began working on the branding initiative before we unveiled the logo and the tagline. We were anxious to get started. So in the spring, with the help of the Magnet Schools of America grant, we placed billboards throughout the community and within our district to let everyone know that we have been authorized and we are an International Baccalaureate World School. In addition, in April, as some of you were up at 5 in the morning, you would have seen us on this Cool School segment of the WIS News. And this school year, we opened up on August 31st as we got ready to play Westwood as a part of the Watch Fox inaugural Spirit Squad. Since the unveiling of the new logo and tagline to our students, faculty, staff, and community, we are continuing to move forward with our positive public relations. We began the year by holding that pep rally that I just told you about, and we unveiled it to the kids in the community, and everyone was extremely excited. We've painted murals in our building on our walls, which identify the IB learner profile. So if you haven't had a chance to see it, just come on by and see the new murals on the walls. We plan to create an ambassador program, and the reason for doing the ambassador program is that we believe we need to get our kids and our parents in the community promoting Richland Northeast and letting everyone know what is happening. We truly appreciate your gracious agreement to the facility upgrades at Richland Northeast. One of the things that I've said along the way, that Richland 2, all of the schools are great in Richland 2. But, as in anything, I like to compare it to an old home. You don't know what's on the inside if you stop because of the outside. And so we appreciate your agreeing to those facility enhancements, and we do believe that as a part of the enhancement project, as well as IB and all the other positive and a concentrated effort on public relations at Richland Northeast, that we will improve our image at Richland Northeast. And so Jack is going to talk a little bit about the facility upgrades.
I have some larger copies I can give out after I finish. Use your time while I hand out slides. If I go to the before I do that, we developed this master plan based off the input that we received from the coaches and the staff, from faculty, and from the school board. And so what you will see here pretty much incorporates everything that was addressed. So go to the next slide. This is an aerial view of the school, current baseball, softball, football, soccer, lacrosse field, tennis courts, and the parking lot. If you could see it, you can see there are three curve cuts that you can see in the main gate, which is the fourth curve cut. On the left side here, on the right side here, you see the bi-phase additions and renovations that we had given to y'all and y'all had approved. You funded just this first phase so far. Go to the next slide. This is the new master plan. What we've done is gone from 4 curve cuts on Brookfield to 2. We're going to keep the one that is currently by where the Sheriff's Portable currently is located, which we hope will move fairly soon. We've created a new entrance that is 2 ways out, 1 way in. It allows the school to better control the traffic in and out of their campus. Also new signage there, and I'll show you that in a minute. We took out the curve cut that is currently the current main gate entrance. It just really doesn't work very well there. There's actually a road right here that goes out the backside of the school, so it goes on the far away. So if there's a large event, you have several different ways of getting on and off the campus, which keeps it safe. We have already replaced the fencing all around the baseball and softball field, and they are pouring concrete as we speak. The colors don't show up very well here, but if you could see it, in the yellow is concrete that is either already poured or will be poured. We've not poured some of it because we don't have to tear it back out. We've created a new greenway. This shows some expansion to the current football seating area. We have a new concession in softball, new concession in baseball. And if we'll go to the next slide, this is what the entrance to the multi-sports field look like. These are brick columns with decorative fencing. Same thing over here for for baseball. That's where the press box would sit. This is the backstop. This is the new gate. As you can see, as you come out, you can either make a left or right on Brookfield. You can only come in one way. And this is the brick columns and fencing. Go to the next, and you see a better shot of that. We kicked around for a long time what we wanted to put on these signs, but it was pretty easy to put Cavalier baseball on the baseball sign, but if you tried to put all the sports on the other sign that would need to be there, it would be just too busy, so we just went to Cavaliers. This is brick. This is a precast insert with the letters carved out, and we'll paint those so they'll really stand out. On the main new gate, again, a brick column. This thing is like 12 feet tall, pretty tall. This is, again, a precast insert on both sides. This one says Richland Northeast High School. This says International World, whatever it is. I'll get it right in a second. That long title that we just put up on the science building, which we're getting ready to put up on the gym. Then if we'll go to the next slide, and just to show you that this is the baseball concession stand. The softball is actually a mirror image of it. These reflect exactly what we did at Spring Valley. It's actually drawn by the same architect. And so this meets code and provides appropriate concessions, bathrooms, and storage on both fields. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Questions or comments from the board?
Just a comment.
Mr. Manning.
Sabrina, I just want to say thank you. I mean, you're certainly putting your mark on Richland Northeast is the new principal, and I know this is taking a lot of work on your behalf to take that school to the next level and put your leadership, your brand of leadership on it. So it's very exciting to see this all come about. Certainly appreciate the SIC. I see now why you guys won awards for all your hard work, and thank you, Ms. Bates, for giving your time to make this a reality. Certainly something that I had hoped to see come to fruition. It's just amazing to actually see this in front of us and what's happening. And thank you to my fellow board members and the district for what everybody's doing to make this happen and work for our students. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Manning. Other comments or questions from the board? Dr. Burgess and then Ms. Anderson.
You want to go? Sabrina, I just want to make a suggestion. I like your promotional ads featuring alumni. You know, there's an ambassadors program that the business community uses to bring in like established businesses and business leaders from other communities to help a smaller community or a community that needs some assistance, whether it's some notoriety or media or just more exposure, more help. I would encourage you to do an alumni ambassadors program. I think that would be a great way to get people in the school, in the community, you know, put the word out. But it's working really well in the business community and some of our small business communities. I think that might be something y'all might want to think about. And I'm going to volunteer my son. He's a graduate of your school, and he probably didn't do as well as he could have in high school. In fact, I think he brought up the rear when he graduated. But nonetheless,
At least he graduated.
That's right. He's out of college. He's doing well. He travels internationally. But Richland Northeast gave him the family and the confidence that he needed to go in the world and make his way. But he's doing great. So I think if y'all did something like that, it might bring in more money, more funding, more notoriety, stuff like that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Burgess. Ms. Anderson and then Ms. Brill.
Jack, one of the things that I noticed when I looked at this map today, so I was going to read tonight. I forgot the board meeting was tonight. Thanks to somebody called me and reminded me. Looked at it, read it last night, and still thinking Tuesday. But as I quickly went through this, it caught my eye on this one-way in.
Yes, ma'am.
Help me to understand, because what I foresee when it immediately was the problem that we have at Spring Valley with the traffic backed up. I can see that traffic.
We'll actually do I call it the Disney blue line. So when they come in, they're supposed to follow the blue line around the parking lot. We'll actually have a lot more stacking. And if we were to build that school today, they wouldn't let us put 4 curve cuts on there, and it's a lot easier for the school to manage one way in, one way out than it is to have multiple gates open. They close those gates anyway. What we're seeing now is the gate that's marked "Do Not Enter" from Brookfield Road. People come right through that gate. I'm really worried we're going to have a head-on collision with some student racing out the gate to go somewhere and some parent trying to take a shortcut coming back in. So this will allow the school and us, because we'll be able to put maybe instead of having the guy up at the cap end of the campus, we'll put a guy in front of this gate, and we can control that a lot better.
But then I'm still concerned with drop off in the morning, because there's still a lot of parents who drop off and pick up.
Right.
And it's going to be the same long line that we experienced at Spring Valley. Is there some other way we can look at that?
They're still dropping at the cap end too. They drop at both ends. So they're dropping at where the cap campus is.
Right.
So I don't know what percentage, but a fair number do go down there. And then the rest of them come in. And right now they have a gate, a one-way in the morning and a one-way out. But we have too many people violating primarily the one-way out. So
I just foresee some problems, and the problems at Spring Valley we have not rectified yet.
Spring Valley's problem is not enough stacking, I'll say. We got as much as we could given the size of the site. Fortunately, here at Northeast, we probably have twice as much on-site stacking, so it should move faster. And if we could go back to the site plan, stop right there. Well, it doesn't show up real well here, but we actually have cut the curb here. That's solid right now. So we've taken that out so that the parents will come in here and line up all the way around here and drop off here instead of where they're doing right now. They're just kind of dropping off in this area. So we've actually added about 15 cars of stacking simply by taking out an existing curve.
So if there were to be thinking outside the box, a terrorist attack, God forbid, or some emergency, true emergency, where parents must come and pick up their children one way in.
Well, in a case like that, we have another entrance off of Faraway Drive.
Faraway Drive.
We have another entrance at Cap, and we still have this entrance that's down here by the sheriff's portable. We could get people on and off that campus.
Now, you said something about the sheriff department moving.
Well, in the desires of the school, the sheriff's portable that's currently located about right here, they would like to see that relocated somewhere else, and that we're working on a plan to do that.
Off of the campus or?
Off of the campus.
Off of the campus, okay. You don't think that's good to have them there on the campus?
I would defer to the school. They're the ones that asked for it to be moved.
You want it moved from the campus?
Yes, that was our desire, that we move it. Part of the problem with them being that it added to that negative perception. We're not working together with them. They are housed there. And so some of my families came to SIC and said, that doesn't look good when you're coming up Brookfield with the perception of Richland Northeast and some of those negative connotations about the school. Sure. It indicates that we need a police presence there, and we do not use them at all.
Well, see, that's good information to know, because I had no idea why Jack made that statement. So that's an excellent explanation, and it makes a lot of sense.
It really started off to be a place for resource officers. It's just become a substation now. So.
And it's a substation for the entire community.
Yes, ma'am. And our plan would keep it in the community, just not there.
Make sure that that's on the website when you make that on our R2 TV, so people will get that out into the community. Those people who are not privileged to be here can hear that. But at any rate, you're telling me now that there will be, in case of emergency, there will be 4 different entrances to the school.
Correct.
Okay.
There could be.
There could be 4. Okay.
There's 5 now. We're just technically only taking 1 out.
Taking 1 out, but there will remain 4 in case of an emergency. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Ms. Brill.
I was on county council when we established that substation there, and we only did it because the location was available. It was not for any problems at the school. So I think it's a good decision to move it. And I also was on county council when we branded City of Columbia and decided on Famously Hot. And I think we paid these out-of-state consultants quite a bit of money. So Ginger, your work has been awesome. Thank you so much. Y'all have done a wonderful job. It's really impressive. And you forgot to mention you're the sister to Reverend Ellen Skidmore, whom we know. But this is an outstanding job, and it's exciting to see you all evolve. And I'm glad we can be a part of that.
Thank you, Ms. Brill. Other questions or comments from the board? Thank you very much.
Was Dr. Watson, you the backup? You got the back.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next on the new business, no action requested, proposed revisions of policy BEDB, board agenda. Dr. Brochu?
Yes, I'd like to call on Deputy Superintendent Cheryl Washington. I believe she will be able to go through the policy with you and answer any and all questions you might have.
Thank you.
Every year in July, around July, August, we receive an update from the School Boards Association regarding policies, changes to policies, new policies, recommended policies, and any changes in laws and regulations, federal and state. This is a change in regulations by the South Carolina Court of Appeals that once the agenda has been set and the meeting has started, you cannot change the agenda. You cannot add an item to the agenda. You can change the order like you did this evening. You can do that, but you cannot add once it's been posted and once you were together in board meeting. So therefore, the language has changed, and it's in red in the policy before you, as presented this evening for your information.
Thank you, Dr. Washington. Any questions or comments from the board?
Doctor,
Mrs. Anderson.
you're saying that once the meeting starts,
Once the agenda has been set, we have to post it 24 hours in advance. We do it 48 hours in advance. But once it's been posted, if you wanted to change something, you'd have to change the agenda and post it again 24 hours in advance. So once the meeting starts, really, it's illegal to go back and change the agenda to add an
which
item.
paragraph are you reading that from?
It's in red.
In red,
Third paragraph.
third paragraph, but I understood it to be unless the entire board, the majority of the board voted on it. So I'm misinterpreting that.
Other questions or comments on the board?
Chairman.
Dr. Burgess.
Dr. Washington, can you clarify for me what would be an item of an emergency or urgent nature?
Probably some kind of, I'm just trying to think of something, going back using the example of a terrorist attack or something that has just come up at the last minute that you have to address as a board, something like that,
Or
something
student
of immediate
issue?
urgency.
Curious.
It could be inclement weather that goes beyond the typical scope of those things that we have outlined in process. A 100-year flood or something like that occurs, and we may have to convene at that time.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions or comments from the board?
Mr. Chair, I just
Yes,
would
Ms.
like to
Spector.
add, since we're talking about the board policies, that from now on, when we have a board meeting, that all attachments are included with the agenda that goes out to the public.
Thank you, Ms. Spector. Other questions or comments from the board? Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is the professional learning. Dr. Brochu.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to call on Nancy Gregory, our Executive Director for Curriculum Instruction and Professional Development.
Good evening, Dr. Brochu, Chairman Jackson, school board members. We prepared a board report on professional learning for your review, and tonight I'd like to share just a few highlights from the report. Okay. Starting with this slide, we want you to notice that we had over 255 workshops and courses from the 2011-12 school year. 4,635 hours of training, 2,600 hours of coaching just for our new teachers. Note the number of hours, since much of our professional learning is job embedded, working with teachers before, during, and after the school day. What has changed? First of all, offering professional learning for all staff members. We now include teaching assistants, support staff, administrators during two 4-day summer institutes. We had over 1,700 attendees in sessions. Utilizing PLLs and CLLs to serve as liaisons between schools. Those are our professional learning leaders for certified staff, our classified learning leaders for our classified support staff. Also, using staff feedback to customize professional learning. Providing more staff choice and voice. And finally, reframing and redesigning professional learning experiences. For example, our Leadership Academy used to only be for aspiring principals. It is now offered for all staff members, administrative assistants, teachers, teaching assistants, bookkeepers, etc. It's about leading from where you are. What are we seeing in the classrooms? Well, for the first time, we've had a common language across the district. We're seeing more collaboration, less competition in classrooms and schools. We're seeing more student-centered classrooms,
less teacher-centered. We're seeing a focus on student engagement in work rather than teacher performance, aka sage on the stage. The teacher is no longer the keeper of all knowledge. With the focus on knowing your customers, teachers are designing work to meet the unique needs of their students. They are nurturing more interdependence rather than dependence by strategically designing learning experiences around the values and motives of their students. Our focus areas for 2012-13 will include designing quality work through protocols and design coaching. That's a continuation. Expanding coaching support for the design process. Implementing common core standards. Integrating technology to support the one-to-one computing initiative. Providing learning opportunities for teaching children in poverty through a partnership with Francis Marion University's Center for Excellence to teach teachers of children in poverty. Also on our radar, project-based learning, reviewing student data, and working with teachers on how to interpret that data and design the appropriate use of assessments. And finally, to close, I quoted Katie Brochu, who has said many times, professional learning is the oxygen of a school district. Any questions?
Questions or comments from the board? Dr. Burgess.
Thank you. Well, I totally support professional development because I think that's what gives people the shot in the arm. It certainly has been my shot in the arm. And project-based learning is very effective. We use it where I work in some of my classes, and it has been very effective, and we've had great outcomes. So I think it's good that y'all are teaching that. It's not about me teaching and, opening that cranium up and pouring the knowledge in and have them memorize that junk and then spit it out. It's not going to mean anything anyway. So it's really about application, and I think that's good. Thank you.
Questions or comments from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I
Ms.
just want to
Anderson.
say it was a thorough report. Took some time to write all that up, but that was a good report that we had in our packet.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Other comments or questions from the board? Dr. Fleming.
Question about your professional leadership learning leaders, is that what it is?
Yes, sir.
And certified?
CLLs, classified learning leaders. Yes.
Okay. Understand where, who are these people? How were they chosen? Who are they?
For the professional learning leaders, and I'm going to call her Denise Duke is one that is in our audience right now. She's the professional learning leader from Forest Lake Elementary. These are teachers. We ask that they not be administrators, and they act actually as liaisons between schools and the district office to help improve communication and also to help us make choices about professional learning. They elicited a lot of the feedback from teachers this past year that we use to customize and design professional learning. And we ask that they not do it just alone with surveys. We ask, and they did this, they actually had conversations with teachers on their staffs to find out what their wants and needs were for professional learning. In fact, we found that it was so effective that the classified support staff asked to do the same thing. All of this came out of a PD design team, and it was driven by teachers. Back to your question on where do these come about, they are technically appointed or selected by the principal, but we did give them prerequisites and require that they are teachers, they are not administrators, and they are volunteers.
Time requirements would seem to be, very much in demand on their time. Is that true or not?
Well, we meet from 2 to 3 times a year, and a lot of it's just about communication, whether it's at their faculty meetings or one of the things that we're working on now, we've worked with SharePoint and also a Google site where we're trying to network and share and get them to give us information about all the professional learning that's going on at their sites so we can let everyone in the district and all the schools share. Because as I mentioned earlier, we are seeing so much less competition, so much more networking and sharing. And that is what their main purpose is. Now, Denise, you could tell me about how many hours you think?
I think it varies. We posting to the website, video and staff members. I
lot with my coming on site to visit and help and or email, because we don't want to type lots and lots of their time, but it is voluntary, and I feel like the teachers felt like having a voice was so much more important, and that's why they were willing to give time.
Well, I think this is great because it's more than we've ever done, so we're definitely going in the right direction. The Leadership Academy was another thing. That was totally, I didn't understand any of that at all, what you said about, hold on a second. They clarified their beliefs about schools in order to articulate a vision that others find compelling, and they will learn how their beliefs result in actions. They can make a positive. I don't understand.
They do action research, and Dr. Washington and Ms. Millette can also answer questions about the Leadership Academy because they work very closely with it. But one of the beautiful things with this is they all do an action research project. And the action research project is something that they can take back to their schools, back to the school district that makes a difference. And one of the examples, Will Anderson was here earlier. I don't know if Will is still...
Joe Burke is here.
Joe Burke is here. But for their project research, one of the things that came out was about having professional learning for the classified staff, that we had been doing very little for classified and support staff. This led eventually to having the classified learning leaders, and on October the 26th, they are having their own professional learning where they will talk about their roles and induction into the culture and core business of Richland 2, which we are hoping this will lead to a prototype where we now start inducting all classified support staff like we do teachers. Does that help a little bit?
No, that helps. I'm just trying to figure out how this relates to making sure we are inspiring people to lead. I mean, I'm sure it does, and I think maybe I would like to maybe see what some of these personal visions are. I mean, at least know what they are.
I'm sure we'd love to share, and we actually have shared some of the action research.
We have. Dr. Fleming, we'd be happy to share that with you. It was a very powerful experience for 39 last year. We have 42 participants. They have to apply. They have to have the support from their principal or supervisor. They are led in 7 sessions this year, 2-day sessions at a time. We had our first session last week. They're led by different consultants who come in and work with them on defining their beliefs, what is actually their role within the district, whether they are support staff, whether they're at the district level or the school level. And what we're finding is that folks are saying, thank you. I finally feel like I have a voice. You did, as a board, when we did our budget, you allocated over $200,000 for our professional development for support staff. And that is a direct result of the Leadership Academy. And they're finding more confidence. They're able to talk about what we're doing in Richland 2. They're able to share their story. So it's very powerful. We'll send you the dates again and invite you to come and participate. They're always at the conference center at the mall.
But it's really helping people problem solve, finding maybe a problem, doing the action research. I worked with a group of assistant principals who were looking for a way to collect data and give feedback to teachers when they enter their classrooms. And one of the things that came out of this was not a checklist, having conversations with the teachers and the students as to whether they were engaged, but giving really extensive feedback to the teacher and having conversations rather than coming in with a checklist.
Other questions or comments from the board?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Banning.
I want to say I think it's exciting.
I'm sorry, Dr. Fleming. I apologize.
I'm sorry.
No. I think I got too many questions.
No, please.
I just want to know, are we sure this is empowering people to lead? That's the whole thing, okay? Whether you work in support service or whatever you do, are we sure of that? And I guess that's my, maybe doing Leadership Academy the old way was not the right way, but at least I think we were training them to be we were training them, and maybe that wasn't working for us. I don't know, but I just want to make sure that it empowers whoever's involved in this to lead.
What is, there are administrators in this group. It's just that it's not, we were very limiting in the past.
This is designed for folks who can lead or who are desirous to lead from where they are, not necessarily to aspire to be an administrator. However, it has prepared some of our folks to go on and move into administration. And so it is empowering those people, I believe.
Well, I mean, whether you're administrative assistant, whether you're an electrician, or whatever your job is, I just want to make sure.
It's building capacity. Building capacity no matter what your role is in the district. And they, our employees have not had that opportunity before.
Thank you,
If I may say something, in some cases, Dr. Fleming, we have employees that really don't see the connection to the school. Like if you have someone at the district level and the finance department, you know, well, what role do I really have? What impact do I really have on the classroom? And they see that. They have a very direct impact on what happens in our classroom.
Helping them understand that they all make a difference. They're all important, no matter what their roles.
And before
okay, I guess we just never did that before.
we did. Well, when I did the Leadership Academy, it started off strictly for those interested in going into administration. If you recall, during that time, we didn't have a lot of people prepared and ready to go. This started back like in 2000. And then we moved, by the middle of 2000, we moved to the role of including teachers who didn't only want to be school administrators, but wanted to be leaders within their school, like team leaders, department chairs, positions like that. And now it's even broader.
And we're providing more professional learning for prospective administrators to move up than we have ever done.
Mm-hmm. Need it.
We're working on it, I promise you. Working hard.
Dr. Fleming?
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Mr. Manning.
Just a couple questions. I think professional development is key, certainly, to moving forward. I think that at some point, I think this is a question that I put forth. You know, I want to see where the rubber meets the road. How is this professional development really taking us to the next level? I think the SAT scores that came out today, we dropped 40 points. You look at the past scores, and we see some things sliding. And I know that these are the roadblocks or the building blocks that need to be in place for us to move forward. But at some point, you know, I hope that we begin to see these foundations really turn into something. I think there was some mention the other day about class size again, and I mentioned, when are we going to quit talking about class size and actually see some of these things get put in place that remove the walls of class size as an issue from our district? And so I'm excited about seeing this at the next phase of this, which is the outcomes that come from these building blocks. And certainly as a school board, we've shown support for the programs, but I think at some point we do need to see the other side, the outcome that comes from this. And, you know, we're allowing teachers to be out from school during the day to do these things, providing the budget for it, providing the time and the support. So very excited about this, but certainly as or more excited about what the outcomes from this are and when we begin to see that really take place.
Thank you, Ms. Manning. Other comments or questions from the board? Let me say that I was waiting to share my comments, obviously allowing board members to speak. This is critically important to me, and I think that a type of impact evaluation is absolutely critical because, and written down, and sort of want to echo what Ms. Manning has just stated, and that is that unless we are able to demonstrate that the impact of the professional learning experience is translated into improved student achievement, though I may be excited about the process and the project, I'm not going to be very excited about the outcome. And I hope that we would be receptive to making sure that there is a lot of attention placed on reviewing the data as a result of those who participated in the process and what's happening in their classroom and how their students are performing. And if that does not, if one does not equate to the other, then that there be a careful, critical review to determine whether or not we continue to do that. I think it's a wonderful experiment, but I am not convinced until we see the results. I am excited, I mentioned before also, that we need to reach out more to partner with those early childhood providers and provide some professional learning partnership opportunities with them, because far too many of the students that are coming into our district do not have that quality foundation. And I'm absolutely convinced that without that quality foundation in early childhood specifically, they're going to have a very difficult time. And a lot of the professional learning that we're doing, unless it begins before they get to us, those transient, those in-migrated students are going to be behind the 8 ball, and we're going to be spending a lot more money and effort trying to salvage that population that seems to be growing. So I am pleased that the Titanic is beginning to turn. I don't by any means want to celebrate just yet, but to make sure that the focus remains on the whole idea of impact evaluation and looking at the results, and then modifying using the real hardcore data to make determinations about future funding, future opportunities and experiences. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the agenda items for our October 9th board meeting, which will be held at Polo Road Elementary. Dr. Brochu.
Yes, Mr. Jackson, we have a number of items already placed on the agenda. Faculty and staff focus report, budget update. We will be seeking approval for policy BEDB, proposed revisions to additional policies ADB and GBEC, that's drug and alcohol-free workplace and schools, a district progress report, midwinter break report, and certainly we will be revisiting the middle school STEMS proposal.
Thank you, Dr. Brochu. Any other items that the board would like to add to the October 9th agenda or any future board meeting agenda? Mrs. Anderson.
Mr. Chair,
yes,
I
ma'am.
do not want this added to the October 9th, but in the future, I remember when Dr. Hefner mentioned the achievement, Center for Achievement at Kelly Mills. I think it's Kelly Mills. And I had asked that in the future we would have that the same thing on the southern end of the district for those parents who could not afford to get all the way to Kelly Mill. That's one thing I'm still asking for. I know that we put some sample sort of a design similar to it at Keels, but I want the same program like we're doing the STEM program for Summit Parkway. I would like for us to implement the achievement program on this end of the district for those children who cannot afford to get to Kelly Mill.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Other items from the board that would request be added to the 9th board meeting or any future board meeting?
Mr. Chair, I'd like
Yes,
to
Ms.
add
Spector.
to the future board meeting agenda, I'd like to have a report on the school supplies that we purchased for this year. I'd like to have it broken down by the vendors, by the schools, and what part the district was responsible for.
Thank you, Ms. Spector.
What kind of cost savings.
And on this code for
Ms. Anderson.
this board agenda policy, before we put it on for action or at the next one, we're going to get some clarification on that because I'm not quite sure that's quite exactly right from what I was stated tonight. So we're going to get clarification before we vote on it at the next meeting.
I do have some information from the school board that says a case decided June 13th by the South Carolina Court of Appeals makes it illegal and under the State Freedom of Information Act for public bodies, including school boards, to amend an agenda during a meeting. Further, the Court of Appeals held that the FOIA requires that published agendas are required for all regularly scheduled meetings.
Thank you.
So it has in here, unless the order is altered by a majority vote of members. Was that in there, or is that something we added in there?
I believe that's something the board added from a long time ago when we started going through the board policies back in
I
early
think what we need to do is
2003.
go back and redo this, but we can discuss it because what this is saying is not what you just read from the School Board Association.
Okay, I'm not following you, Ms. Anderson.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Any other items to be added to the 9th agenda or future board meeting agenda? Thank you very much. Next, we have the next we have public participation, part 2. If anyone would like to speak to the board at this time who did not sign up, feel free to come up. Seeing none, thank you very much. Next on the agenda is the board and superintendent comments. Dr. Fleming.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's great being here at Forest. At Forest Lake, it's good to see something that's not, that's a little bit older than I am, maybe. I don't know, be there. But District 2, that's hard to do. But if you look at this school, it doesn't look like it was built in the 50s. It's a great facility here. And I just want to thank the board for moving these meetings along and trying to get through these agendas. We got a lot to do, and we still. I would like to thank those responsible, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Fleming. Mrs. Anderson.
The Forest Lake family, beautiful school, and everything that you guys are doing is just outstanding, great, beautiful. I applaud each and every one of you on that. And the children were simply lovely. This little boy is gone now, so I can say it. When they were sitting down here, one of them said, "Oh man, that means I'm getting old." And I thought, you got a long ways to go, young man. I thought that was so cute. He was grunting when he got up. But at any rate, all the reports that I've heard tonight, the Northeast, the professional development, everything has just been great. I'm eager for Northeast, and I was so glad to hear the report because I didn't know why the Sheriff Department was there. And see, here I am, a board meeting, and I had negative connotations about it being there. So that's something that needs to really get out to the public. And again, I think congratulations to all the teachers of the year and the honor roll teachers. And again, I continue to keep our members of our District 2 family in prayer. Those that we know of and those that we don't know of. In my prayers, I just sort of pray for everybody, and that not just America, God bless America, but for God to bless our world. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Ms. Spector.
Happy, I just want to say the school looks great. And also, congratulations to all the teachers of the year. And everybody else has said everything else. So.
Thank you, Ms. Spector. Dr. Burgess.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to thank Dr. Steck and her faculty for having us. Where is she? Well, there she is behind the podium. She's the one that had my child that did good in elementary school, but he barely graduated from high school. But he's doing good now. He graduated from college, traveling. And he's a Richland Northeast graduate. I do want to thank Richland Northeast for your report. I thought that was great and wish you all the success. I think y'all are just doing great things, and keep it up. I want to congratulate our Teachers of the Year, and it seems like that list and line gets longer every year. And also, I just want to finally say about our Leadership Academy that y'all are put together. We do something similar where I work, and the purpose is really to empower people to be part of the solution, and it's been very effective no matter where they are, because at the end of the day, I don't care what your job is, you want to feel important, and you want to feel like you made a difference, and it really has helped people. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Burgess. Mr. Manning.
Mr. Chair, Dr. Steck, my daughter's principal, thank you so much for what you do, and for seeing that sweet little girl come to school and all the hugs she gets from the teachers every day. It means a lot to her and to us. Also want to thank the staff here. I know there was an incident here the other day. You guys handled it beautifully. Living here in the neighborhood just a couple blocks away, these things get back to me all the time, and heard nothing but just really amazing things about how you guys handled that, particularly at the end of the school day when we were holding up people in lines and everything else to get their children. So thank everybody for that. Certainly the Teachers of the Year. It's a great honor to have that, considering how large we are now. What an amazing thing for all the teachers that receive that award. And just want to thank the board for the commitment to Richland Northeast and to the school and some of our older schools in the district. It's great to see that continued support, and just amazing, Cappy, the story of this school and the community was a great story that I never heard before. So thank y'all for sharing that with us.
Thank you, Ms. Manning. Mrs. Brill.
Cappy, great to be here. My evaluation is great learning environment, warm, inviting, and cheerful. And not only you organized and well maintained, I found a notepad in the ladies' room. So I know, you're always at work. That was impressive. I wonder, was that intentional? Anyway, impressive environment, and I know Angela Powers and your staff all do an excellent job with the kids and the music and the singing. It's outstanding. Also thought that Gracie Lewis did a great job with her prayer. It was beautiful and very special. Congratulations to the Richland Northeast SIC group for their recognition. Outstanding work. Congratulations to the Teacher of the Year folks and their recognition. As someone mentioned, we're such a large district that their recognition is really outstanding. And we're very proud of each and every one of them. Also wanted to express my gratitude for changing the meeting from Tuesday night to Monday night. And if I hadn't called Miss Anderson, she would have been coming on Tuesday night. So I appreciate that.
I do too.
And you appreciate my phone call. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brill. So now I want to echo all that's been said. Dr. Sack, you know that this board stands fully committed behind what you're doing here and the excellent work that's going on. And we proudly come to this school and we hold our meetings here celebrating the legacy that this school represents. Educating 26,700 plus students in Richland District 2 is serious work. And so I want to thank the board members for taking it seriously. It's not an easy job by any stretch of your imagination. So your leadership, board members, is critical. So I appreciate it. Also want to thank the work that's being done at Richland Northeast as well, because it's a lot more than just brick and mortar. Thank you for the excellent job. And finally, I want to thank the employees of the district who participated in the climate survey. The board is anxiously awaiting the results of that survey so that we can use that information as it helps us to shape and develop the future of this district. So thank you very much for participating in that. Any other comments, Dr. Brochu?
No comments at this time.
Or other staff members? Yes, Dr. Washington.
I'd like to thank Cappy for the recognition as a former principal of Forest Lake Elementary. I really like that picture.
Chair will entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we go into second executive session to discuss contractual and personnel matters.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Manning, second by Ms. Buell. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we're ready to vote.